Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Things seem to be coming in here. And it looks like we are now live. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And let me make sure that ET100 on. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right. Yep, we have the right mic selected. I made that mistake once, and the show was not as good here. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Hey, my name is Jacob with MarketingPlayBook.co, and every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central, we have a live hangout that we do via YouTube. It's also streamed on Facebook too most of the time. It's always streamed on YouTube. That's the main channel in which we're actually producing it on. So this week we're going to be covering SEO and kind of more in depth, not just an intro to SEO and what it is, but also what SEO companies do. And this is something for small businesses that they really need to understand is how an SEO company works. That way you kind of know when you hire an SEO company on what it is that they're doing and what it is you're paying them for. And you can also kind of keep on top of it to make sure that that's what they're doing. And so MarketingPlayBook.co is slanted towards helping small businesses out. And we have all kinds of tips and tricks, including guides on how to use AdWords, how to use Facebook, Bing ads, how to do anything that involves a small business and doing digital marketing, so marketing online. That's what we do. Lead generation, the works, right? And so that's what MarketingPlayBook.co focuses on. Last week, we had Remarketing 101 and getting started, how to do remarketing. We had the week before that, should I build an email list for my small business and how to do it, developing a content strategy, outsourcing, and on. Should your business be doing social? So we're really bringing a lot of value out there. So if you haven't checked out any of those videos yet, I encourage you to do so. You can just click on our channel on YouTube. You can also subscribe as well, and the subscription button should be below. We'll also have links going to the written guide. So each and every video that we do, we actually have a written guide that accompanies it. And in that written guide, it's going to be on MarketingPlayBook.co. And in the written guide, you're going to have the links to any of the software that we talk about in the articles. And they're really great for refreshing your memory without having to watch a video. And so let's go ahead and dive in, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about MarketingPlayBook.co and how you can connect with us. Now, this is a live show, so if you have any questions, I do have comments turned on. Let me verify that. So comments are on. Yes, they are. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free and just ask. You're going to see the chat window right over on the right-hand side, and just simply ask your questions. I have it up, so anything you ask, I should be able to see and answer. So I do have my water. I do have my coffee. I should actually switch these around. But all right, let's go ahead and get started. So a brief intro to SEO and what your SEO company does. So really the goal of this article is not so much to really cover everything SEO on you. We will go more in depth in that at some other time. We have some great guides over on MarketingPlayBook.co that already kind of cover this, but it's more, like I said in the beginning, about what an SEO company does and kind of how you can use this as an outline for what you can do for yourself, and some areas that you can try to learn and focus on if you are going to be doing your own SEO, or if you've hired it out during your monthly call with your SEO company or your weekly call with your SEO company. You can touch upon these things and say, well, hey, what about this? What about that? And you know, that way they're forced to speak to some things. And this can be a pretty big help for you in managing and ensuring that your SEO company that you hired is doing a good job for you. And so first and foremost, what is SEO? And SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's the process of optimizing digital web assets to rank high in search engines for desired keywords. And I use digital web assets there instead of websites because there are many times in which it's not necessarily just your website that you're trying to gain rank for. It could be your Google Maps placement. It could be your Bing Maps placement. It could be your social Facebook profiles. So it's no longer, SEO is no longer contained to one individual's website. It's contained to your entire online persona. and your business as a whole. So when somebody types in your city name plumber, your city name, whatever it is your service is, auto mechanic, it's not just your website that you want showing up. It's your business listings showing up, your Facebook page showing up, your Twitter page, whatever other social metrics that you're using for your company. It might be your Yelp review. If you have you're a restaurant, you have good Yelp reviews. So it's about ranking your whole entire online digital web assets via the search engine. So primarily Google. I mean, that's the giant in the room. It's going to have 90% of the search traffic out there. That's the one that you're going to be going after, and that your SEO is going to be going after. It's not to say that Bing isn't important. It is. I make a lot of money off of Bing myself personally, just because the lead qualities are super fantastic. So hey, go after Bing too, right? So why do SEO? And this is kind of basic, right? So one, it works. Once you rank, you can rank for an extremely long period of time, especially if you rank high and you keep up doing the good work that you're doing. Once you're there, it's just the ROI can just be absolutely fantastic for you. It's not going to stop working anytime soon. So if you're able to get that number one rank up there, or number 2 and number 3 rank up there, you're it's a long-term marketing strategy. It's not some fly-by-night, I'm going to post this picture here and I'll get 1,000 customers. It's going to work long-term. It is very cost-effective, especially when done right and properly. So, right there, again, goes back to ROI. And so the other ones is, I put this in there, and that's that search engines are used to reaffirm decisions. So I already kind of decided who I wanted. A good example is I decided who I wanted to have do some mechanic work on my vehicle. Now, before I actually went there, I said, well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go online, I'm going to search them, and I'm going to see what people are saying about them. And I only thought of it afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I have been using search engines more and more and more myself to reaffirm my purchases. So before I purchase something, I'm going out there and saying, okay, what is it people are saying about this product or the service or this company that I'm buying from? And so that ties into SEO for your online reputation. So, having those reviews up there and the Google Plus reviews and the like can really, really help. And yeah, this auto mechanic place had 12+ reviews, and all were 5-star except for one, which was a 1-star. So, right, you're always going to have that. Mobile phone searches, location-based terms. This is fantastic because more and more people are searching for things like, okay, auto mechanic near me, and things along those lines. So because they're on the mobile phone, it's often places that they're looking for right then and right there, which isn't true necessarily with all businesses, but quite a bit of them. So something definitely to consider and look into. And lastly, your competition is doing it. So I'll guarantee you that all of those who are in the top position in your industry and in your field are probably paying somebody to do SEO for them. And generally, most small businesses aren't capable of putting in the effort, nor do they have the expertise to really get them to rank long-term and correctly in search engines. And this is one reason why people have said SEO is dead, and it really isn't dead, and SEO is never going to die. It'll always be there, but there are so many more caveats to it that oftentimes you do need an expert. You're an expert at what it is that you do. So you're an expert at doing automotive repair, or if you're a dentist, at being a dentist, or a plumber or electrician. You're the best at what you do in your area, and let somebody else who is best at SEO handle that aspect of it. And that's generally what I recommend most businesses do, just because the bang for buck trade-off is usually fantastic. But if you have to do it yourself, perfectly fine. That's why MarketingPlayBook.co is here, and we can definitely help guide you on different ways and techniques on how to do that. But again, this one isn't so much on SEO, but more what SEO companies are doing, in case you hire one out. So this was an interesting tidbit that I picked up, and it was according to a study conducted at Cornell University, and I'll link to it in the show notes page on MarketingPlayBook.co. 80% of all clicks go to the top 3 listings, and this is So true. So I was just in some web analytics stats just today and looking at it, and I was comparing the number one spot had 58% of all searches done clicked the number one post. And so uh, after that, I looked at, okay, well, which ones do I have ranked number 10 on the page? And for the organic listings for the number 10 ranking, it was like 1.46%. It was really, really low. And most people aren't even going to get to that second page. That second page is one of those, no, I mean, how many people go to the second page? When's the last time you went to the second page? Only when the search results that were returned via your query don't match do you go to the second page, and that's getting rarer and rarer and rarer. So, yeah, just something to think about too with that. And the study, I don't know how old exactly the Cornell study was, but 80% of clicks are going to the top 3 listings. Well, that was probably done before Google AdWords, Google.com just changed their layout a few months ago. And that new layout, they took away the sidebar ads and they added in an extra ad on top. So before you used to have 3 ads. And then you had your sidebar column, and now you have 4 ads. And not only do you have 4 ads now there on top, which pushes your organic results down, you also have 3 map listings. So besides your website being there, you're going to have those 3 map listings. So before the first organic search shows up there's already 7 listings above you, potentially 7 listings already above you. So it's already now above, and this is vital for people to understand, it's already above the fold. So you have to scroll down now in Google to see the search results, which is, in any service-based industry anyways. And that's really, really important to acknowledge. And so even being in that number 10 position and 8 and 9 position is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. So really, it's a top 3 that you got to get into. Otherwise, you're just leaving a lot of money on the table. So next up, we're going to talk about quickly white hat SEO versus black hat SEO. And I'm not going to spend much time on this at all. But basically, black hat SEO is a process of getting links unnaturally to gain the system, whereas white hat SEO is a process of gaining links in a more natural way. Now, if I was to talk with an industry expert, you can go back and forth saying, well, no, all search engine optimization is manipulation, therefore all SEO is black hat, and you can quibble back and forth all day long about it. So the only point I want to really make here is to ensure that your SEO company is following the industry's best practices, and we're going to kind of outline some of those practices below in this guide, and you'll get a feel for whether they're a legit company or not a legit company. If they're not doing a lot of what we're going to be covering for you initially in your first consultation, you'll know off the bat that, oh yeah, these guys are pretty damn shady. No wonder why they're only $300. And big no-nos out there, such as buying links. Now you're still paying for links because you're hiring experts who go out to find those links and have that content written for you and everything else. So you're still buying links, even in white hat SEO, but it's done differently. You're not flat out going to a webmaster saying, hey, I'll give you $200 if you stick this link on your website for me. So it's done much more in a suave type fashion. And in the end, ultimately, the goal is not just to benefit your site, but to benefit the web as a whole. And if you make that your focus, to benefit the customer and to benefit the web, the World Wide Web as a whole, and your SEO company takes that approach as making the web better, then all in all, you're probably going to do pretty good SEO wise. And so just something to keep in mind. So getting started with SEO, when an SEO company first gets hired on, they'll do an initial assessment. And so an initial assessment is going to cover several things. And I'm going to read these off, and I'd highly suggest you actually look at the written guide too as well to kind of reaffirm these, or just copy and paste them into your notes, just so you know. So I'll go ahead and dive in. It's in-depth interviews with the marketing department and technical teams. So if they're not asking you a lot of questions up front. Okay, what have you done SEO wise? Who have you hired? What do you have going on with your website right now? What are your current PPC marketing campaigns? What are your product line? If they're not asking you a huge slew of questions, and I'd probably say 40, 50, 60 questions in there, then they're not really doing an assessment of your company, because they need to first identify your needs as a company to understand what it is that you're doing, in order to understand your industry, in order to understand who your competitors could be and who your competitors are. Things along those lines, and they're going to help identify some of those. And if you're unable to answer those questions, they should be able to work with you to get those questions answered and help guide you into finding out those answers. So if they just say, "Oh no, just give us your top 2 keywords and we're good to go," run away really, really fast. So next up, we have keyword and content analysis, and this is important because the SEO company needs to go through all of your site content basically and ensure that you're meeting the industry best practices. You have the right type of keyword density in there. You're not keyword stuffing at all. You're not over optimizing. You're not doing any of the things that a lot of people do to shoot themselves in the foot. What used to work several years ago doesn't work today, and what works today may or may not work in a decade. So that's something to keep in mind. But there are industry best practices that are going to really, really help you mitigate potential major catastrophes. And I've had those happen to me. I've had websites that were making a tremendous amount of money, ranked exceptionally well, and then Google says, "Jacob, I don't like how you're ranking, how you're doing this with these sites," and they dropped off the map. And since then, I've kind of learned a lot of hard lessons. And unless you've actually gone through that, which a lot of SEO companies have, a lot of them have matured over the years. They've gone through it and understand just how vital it is to do it right and do it right the first time. So the next step is they're going to take a look at your internal linking structure analysis and do an analysis there of where you might be passing your page juice through. How you're linking out to other websites, and how you're linking internally to your content, how your content's organized, and that'll be under your site architecture. So under the site architecture, how's your website categorized? So these are separate categories that they should be breaking down for you. Your external link review, they'll run that. So and that's usually done through something like SEO Moz, or they'll have a third-party tool that they use to gather up all your external links and then show you your profile. So what's your keyword density and things along those lines. Now, you can push back and you can ask it like, okay, well, where's this data pulled from? And if they just say, well, SEO Moz or SEMrush, are they just saying one source, or are they saying multiple sources? If they name off like 3 or 4 places that they're pulling this data from, thumbs up. If they're naming off one source, that's not bad, but it tells me that the company is still very, very young. It's probably not that big of a company that you're working with, which is perfectly fine. But the more sources that they're pulling from, the fuller and more complete the picture is going to be, because SEO experts use all these tools out there on the market. And these tools are absolutely fantastic, but no one tool gives you the full picture. Each tool will give you, a 60% of the picture. And for the most part, that's good enough. And that's why I say it doesn't necessarily matter. But if it should give you more confidence if they're pulling from multiple sources. Just, take that for what it's worth. If not, maybe you can question them a little bit more and pry a little bit more into the process of what they're doing. So next up, you have the competitive analysis. And this is where they go in and they're going to identify who ranks number 1 in your industry for what keywords, and kind of where they're at and where you're at, and compare those. They'll have a graphics and design analysis, and this is important, especially this is something that a lot of SEO people don't do, but it's great to have it done, because the design elements of your site and the creatives that you have on your site say a lot about your site. And so you can do certain elements within those images to help get those to rank, to help tell Google, hey, this is what this image is about. It's about Virginia and being a plumber. So there's a lot there that can be done, and having good graphics, technical analysis. So going over, and I can consider technical analysis of going over, let's say, your web host and looking at, okay, well, what technologies are you utilizing on your website currently? And could you be utilizing other technologies at the same or current price or even cheaper? And that can play a big factor, because you have to make sure that your website loads fast, that it's decent, and things along those lines. It's important to have your website with not a lot of cluttered code in the background, a good, nice, clean code, even citations in there, fantastic. So there's a lot that can be done via a technical analysis, and that kind of covered a little bit with the site architecture. That has a lot to do with the technical analysis too, as well as how things are laid out. So content wise and flow wise, are you linking out on the home page? Is it easy to navigate? And when I land on your site, is it easy for me to identify what's good, what's bad? Is it easy for me to get to the information that I want to get to get to the information that the customer ultimately wants? And next up, we have the benchmark reports, and this is pretty standard for most of them. They'll do a benchmark. They'll tell you where you're at currently, and based upon that benchmark, you'll be referring to it probably on the next meeting, a month or so, if things progress anyways with the company. And from there, you'll look at the past benchmark against versus where you're currently at and see your progress that you made, or if you move backwards, which does happen. I mean, I've had it where I've had clients that I've taken over and they've ranked, on the second page, and I took over, and because I had to remove a lot of stuff that was kind of shady and there to begin with, they fell off the map. And hey, what happened? We were 2, now we're nowhere before. And my kind of comment there to that was, well, you were ranked number 2, or I'm sorry, on the second page and third page and fourth page for a lot of stuff. But how much traffic did that bring you? No traffic, right? So don't get mad because you had no traffic before and you have no traffic now, and it's only been a month, and oftentimes takes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months to really get to where you want to go. But each and every month, things should start progressing. Once you might have that initial decline, things usually step up. And that was already explained to them, but still, you're going to have that, right? And now they're happy as a clam because they went really well. And so moving on there, we have the current SEO strategies and our current and past SEO initiatives, I should say. And this is a pretty in-depth report. When possible, I like to see what strategies they had and who they the before, and get a feel for what that other company was doing. That way I can get a full picture of, all right, trying to match what the past SEO company was doing, why this company isn't happy with those efforts, and then see, what were they doing right, what were they possibly incorrect on, or didn't keep up with the latest strategy on. I don't like to put any SEO companies down, because ultimately there isn't do this and it's correct. In this industry, it's just not like that. And I'll tell you right now, there's certain things I do with some industries and some websites that I can't do with other websites in other industries, and vice versa. So it's just the way it is. Paid search advertising performance review. So this is something that may or may not come into play. It should come into play. And this is the SEO company speaking with you or your marketing department on what your current marketing efforts are and what you have going on out there that are paid. So SEO goes hand in hand with advertising. And some people don't really realize that, but it does. And it's important for the SEO department to be working with the advertising department to ensure that all SEO aspects are being met, and it can have a fantastic effect too. So if they're not even inquiring at all about what you're doing marketing wise, I'd give them a little bit of a leery eye and say, hey, I'm not saying they need to be advertising experts. It does help, but they should know a little bit there. And so these are just kind of a lot of the main points. I'm already running a little bit longer than what I wanted to in this, but it's good stuff to go through. So that's what I'd recommend. Let me see here. Yes, I got good coffee. So sorry, I'm answering a question there that was asked way early on about my coffee. So now it's getting a little cold. And this is a really old mug that I've kept around. Anybody remember eZine articles? Yes. I actually had my first mug that they sent me break. And so I was like, hey, eZine, my second mug, or send me another mug. And so that's several years old, and a great place, man, when you could just send your articles into eZine articles and rank all your websites. Oh, those were the days, right? So SEO recommendations. Based on the initial assessment, you're going to get back what will likely be given a course of action to move forward. So once the initial assessment's done, they're going to come back to you and they're going to give you a list of pricings. They're going to give you a list of fees and a list of things that you can fix. And so these are some of the one-off things that could be that'll be given to you, and some of those are going to be easy fixes. And so they'll look over your digital assets and they'll quickly come up with some things that you can just tweak really quick that won't really cost a lot of money and can greatly improve your website. This might just be site titles. It might be, okay, well, remove this plugin and add in this plugin, change out this text. Let's hey, you're on a really slow host. Let's move you over to here. It's something that's generally really easy to fix. It might just be, hey, linking from your YouTube page to your website, things along those lines that are one time. And then you have digital asset changes. And so you most likely have some site architecture and images and layout and content changes that might need to be made. So if you don't have enough content on your website, you don't have an About Us page, privacy policy, things that Google likes to see, then those are things that'll probably address that in there and get added. And then there's off-page changes. So this might be other assets that you control that maybe aren't set up entirely correctly. So if you were to go to our actual profile page on YouTube, you're going to see there that we link directly to our website, MarketingPlayBook.co. We also link to our Twitter feed. We link to our blog page. We link to quite a few social profiles and that we have. And those social profiles all link back to our MarketingPlayBook.co website. And that's done so we can kind of tell Google, hey, these are all of our Web 2.0 assets. Come check them out. And that's something, if you have those Web 2.0 assets set up, that's something that you really should be taking advantage of. And, those are kind of the off-page changes that I'm referring to. And that might be also anchor text changes. So if you own certain assets online, they might want to change some of the anchor text out to naked links, which is just going to be, your website, www.marketingplaybook.co, rather than anchor text, which would be SEO help Denver or something like that, right? That's an anchor text, whereas the other one was naked URL, which is just the www.marketingplaybook.co. So moving on here. So step 3 is ongoing SEO optimization and management. So after you kind of go through the easy fixes and the step 2 and the one-off changes, this is where you're paying people the monthly service for, and that's predominantly the ongoing SEO efforts to do it. And the first thing that this is going to include a lot of stuff, and I get asked all the time about, I don't understand why I have to pay monthly for SEO. Why can't I just pay $1,000 and be done? And the reason is because things are constantly being added and changed, and the search engine is an evolving marketplace, and it's an evolving landscape. And I usually like to refer to it as tell people to think of it as the yellow book, and the phone book, I should say. And so when you have a phone book, if you can be listed for free, just like you can with search engines, right? So you can put it in there, and as long as your business is registered, the phone book's going to have you in there. You're going to be in that small little text area and your phone number next to it. Now, if you pay, a little extra, they'll make it bold for you. If you pay a little bit more, you'll get that 1/16th ad on the page. And then, they got the 1/8 ad, the quarter page ad, the third page ad, half page ad, full page ad. And depending upon the ad that you go with, the bigger the ad, as long as the content and the ad copy is decent, the bigger the ad, the more calls you're probably going to get. If you're that little text in there and I'm a half page ad, I'm going to get the call. And I'm going to get the vast majority of the businesses. And that's just the way it is. Now, the same goes with SEO. The more you pay, especially on a monthly basis, the more work that an SEO company is going to be able to do to help rank you. And as you're paying on that monthly that monthly cost, you're getting that full page ad each and every month. Now, if you back off, you can go from that full page ad to the half page ad, or 1/3 ad, or 1/4 ad, or just keep it where, or just cut it off completely and say, okay, well, when I fall way down again is when I'll rehire somebody on. But I guarantee you, a good SEO company, once you leave, they and you come back to them, a year later, they're really going to charge you for them to redo all the SEO work. Basically, they'll say, well, we got you number one, then you left. Right? They'll take you back, but they're going to charge you. I'll just tell you that right now. They have to, right? Because they spend a lot of time and effort to get you there. And it's hard. So ongoing efforts include content recommendations and content strategy plans. So we talked about this previously in another hangout that we did. And that involved, what was it? Developing a content strategy. So definitely check that out. And I kind of covered in there why a content strategy is so important, and certain things you need to have in there. And this could easily encompass social web 2.0 properties, content that's done on your site, and the SEO company might be providing that content for you, or you can provide it for them. Generally, I provide all content to my companies that I work with, and I provide the content because they don't. It's no offense to a lot of small businesses, you get busy and you don't get me the content that needs to be posted, and then I'm like, well, I need the content, and it just becomes a back and forth, and it's not worth it. So I pretty much do all content now for any business, unless it's very, very high level stuff and you're giving it to me months and months in advance, then I'll use your content. So next up is a reporting and analysis, and this is where you'll normally have that monthly call with an SEO expert, and it's going to cover metrics to show how you're faring on and offline. And this is important because you'll be able to measure, how well the SEO company is actually doing. So, what are your current ranks for this and that? What's going on in the industry? You're seeing call volumes, and it's a kind of a handshake and a check-in to make sure everything's going on well. And during that, usually out of it, you have some ad hoc recommendations. So based upon initial successes or failures that you have, you're going to run into, you're going to have to make some changes. And I'll be honest, every SEO company or every SEO job that I've done, or even SEO company that I've consulted with, or anything there that I've done, there's usually something, there's always some wrench in the SEO plan. So we set it up, everything looks perfect, and then it's like, oh no, we got to do this, or oh, look at this, or wow, this really worked really well. Let's focus in on it. Let's pull back on the other things that we're doing. This right here is bringing you a lot of traffic and a lot of leads. Let's focus on it. Let's get it going. Let's get it rocking, right? So those come into play. And same with ongoing SEO support. So search engines always change. The algorithms change. Like I said, I pointed you out the eZine articles, right? Well, you going back 10 plus years, maybe it was even longer than that. Article networks were fantastic. I mean, just you could do that and you rank all day long, and it was recommended by most white hat people. But then all of a sudden things changed, and now they're kind of seen as junk. And in some aspects they are, in other aspects they aren't. But it's one of those things that you need people to stay on top of the industry. And as things change, they need to be able to monitor it and help guide you and stay ahead of the curve. So that's a big plus right there. then the number one thing that most SEO companies are going to be doing, and that's going to be link building and managing your online profile management. So with link building, it's the main item that every SEO company is going to be focusing on, and this is in the end where you gain your authority and where you get yourself pushed up in Google. And it's based upon the links and the authority of links coming into you. And it's not to say you go out and get all links. Not all links are created equal. One good link is worth 100 other links. You want them to be on topic. You want them to be themed. You want them to come naturally from you posting great content. And so there's a lot of metrics behind the scenes that go into that. And SEO companies oftentimes have to call up businesses, have to network with businesses, especially local. If I was taking on, let's say, an auto mechanic in a specific city, well, I'm going to go around and I already know kind of a few other similar type businesses I'm going to approach. I'm going to say, hey, we'd like to write an article for you. And hey, I have this great article. I can already have it written just because I know I'm going to find somebody. And I know I'm going to find somebody because I'm going to be calling 10 people up on the phone. I'm going to be emailing 10, 20, 30 people. And I'm going to find somebody who's going to put that article on the website. And they're going to be a service-based industry. They might be a plumber in that city. And so I'm going to look at the people who are ranking top in that city and kind of compare and do a lot of legwork, or have people do a lot of legwork to get you that link. And that's SEO done right. And so it, it's hard and it takes a lot of work to do. So you have a competitive comparison. So they're going to an SEO company is going to constantly be monitoring your competitors and saying, okay, where do they rank? Where do you rank? What are they doing? And look for any major changes in their industry and in your local market. So content creation and promotion. So this is something that's kind of come into play here, especially in the last few years, and I believe it's gonna take an even bigger spot going forward. And so by content creation and promotion is what I'm saying is, and this isn't done by all SEO companies yet, but it will be. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be developing great content in any particular format that it could be. It could be an article, it could be images. It could be done in a lot of different ways. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be driving paid traffic to that content, and you're going to be focusing on targeting influencers, bloggers, industry experts for them to see the content and then reference that content for you. Because it's so great, they're going to link back to it. They're going to post it on their sites. They're going to be sharing it with their friends. And that's how you ultimately get those links to be shared and to get all those links coming back into your website. And before, a lot of people just, well, I'm going to go out and contact these people one by one. That kind of works sometimes, but it doesn't always work. And it's a lot of work. So oftentimes now you actually pay to drive paid traffic to your website. And it's pay to play, kind of. And that's another reason why, some people say SEO is dead, because you look at stuff like this, where it's how you share the content. Content's still king. But Google isn't going to find you, unless you're promoting your content, unless you're going out and actively getting these links coming in. Even if you write great content, nobody will find that great content unless you first point people to that great content. And so it's kind of a shame, but it's the truth. And that's how the industry is now. And once more and more people, they're figuring it out. So where most SEO companies fall short, and so this is my own personal opinion and kind of what I take to task when, and I know a lot of SEO agencies and some really, really good ones who do great and fantastic jobs, especially for enterprise level. I don't do enterprise level. Enterprise level is, think Fortune 500 companies. I can't handle that. My company's not big enough. I'm not ramped up enough. But if you are head of marketing in a Fortune 500 company and you're looking for SEO, feel free and contact me. I can definitely get you in touch with the right people and get you taken care of there. So you can contact me on MarketingPlayBook.co, or you can even send me an email at MarketingPlayBook.co, so no dot, MarketingPlayBook.co @gmail.com. That's kind of the default one that I check. So where most SEO companies fall short, they do not provide digital marketing help. And I've noticed this time and time again where there's no guidance and no tie-in to your marketing plan. And everything you do should be geared towards increasing your sales, right? And increasing your bottom line, increasing your ROI, and that's how you survive. That's how you make money. That's how you expand. That's how you hire employees. How you feed your children. And so oftentimes SEO people just say, "Oh no, let's just get them to rank. Let's just get them to rank." But they don't think about, well, where is it that you're making money? What traffic sources out there are making you money? What are the keywords that are making you money? What is it on your site that could be optimized to make you more money? And so that's pretty important. And I think going forward, you're going to find more and more SEO companies, especially good ones, are going to be taking that under consideration. So you're going to start hearing more and more questions around okay, well, what is it that you're doing marketing wise, and how are you currently leveraging your SEO strategy to combine it with your marketing strategy? And so you're going to see a lot of those two industries really mix more and more and more. They already are mixing, but you're going to see it become where it's almost, I'm not going to say one and the same because they are completely different, but you're going to see them where they overlap a lot more than they currently do. And so I think that's going to be the future that you're going to see in the big change with a lot of SEO companies out there, and where a lot of them fall short. So you might say, well, this is all fine and dandy. This is great information. I have zero money and I can't afford to hire any SEO expert out there. I'm doing SEO myself. Where should I start? And so, the first thing I'd say is, well, if you're doing it yourself, the first step you absolutely need to do is go to MarketingPlayBook.co/connect. And on our connect page, and we have it, if you just go to MarketingPlayBook.co, you're going to see on like the top right, I have a link there that says connect. Go to that page and you're going to see, links to our YouTube channel to subscribe. You're going to see a link to our Google community where you can subscribe and ask your questions. We're going to have a private backend a membership on MarketingPlayBook.co that you're going to be able to join. Currently, we do have a private Facebook group that you can apply to and ask your questions. So these are all areas in which you can go ahead and sign up for and get some expert help on exactly what you need to do, and not just SEO wise, but also marketing wise, digital marketing wise. So the first thing I do if I was a small business owner and I knew nothing and really wasn't tech savvy and was like, you know what, but I'm just starting off, I have no money. And believe me, I was there. What I do is I tell people, go to Google Places, right? So the local places, I should say. So Google being one of the more important, that's going to be google.com/business. I'll have the link on MarketingPlayBook.co. Check the link in down below, and you're going to see the link to the guide there. And so there you're going to be able to list yourself on the Google map. So when somebody does type in plumber St. Paul, and they scroll down, there's the maps and it shows the local businesses. You can be one of those local businesses, and Google's always going to rank those in there. And so that's why I say, well, it's not just about ranking your website when you think SEO. It's about ranking your other digital assets, and that's a great way to get started. And you also get a link from there back to your website. So I'll cover a bit more. You can optimize basically and categorize your page there. So you can tell them, hey, I'm a plumber, and you can select any industries that are relevant to you. You can put in your name, your address, your phone number. People are going to be able to do online reviews there. So it comes back to what I was saying earlier, when people do a review or do a search online to kind of to see what are people saying about this company. And so when they put in your business name and they say review, and they're going to see the Google reviews right there for you. So that's a great way of getting started and getting in there. You can also provide photos to the listing, and believe me, take the time, go through your Google Maps listing, fill out everything that can be filled out. So add in 15 photos if you can, right? Just add in pictures of your restaurant, add in the outside, add in pictures of you and your family, whatever you want, right? Get it in there, get it going, and it'll pay off, believe me. So you can do the same thing with beingplaces.com. So again, this will be linked to the MarketingPlayBook.co, and Yahoo just changed. So they had their website, but then I don't know what's going on with Yahoo right now. So they're all over the map. But I have a new link. I can't even spell it. But they do have a free listing in there, so you can sign up with Yahoo. You can do a free listing, but they are going to spam you to death trying to upsell you. And so just be aware of that. You're going to get calls from, they're going to be like, hey, sign up for a full service. I don't necessarily recommend them at all, but you can buy whoever you want, right? And so the next thing I do if you're doing your own SEO is going to be, this is more so you don't shoot yourself in the foot. Develop a content strategy. And for that, I'm simply I could talk for 32 minutes and 41 seconds on how to develop a content strategy, because I already did. And that's going to be linked to in this article. It's there already on YouTube, so go listen to it, go watch it, and it'll tell you how to develop a content strategy, because that is important. And next, we're going to say build out your social web profiles and link back to your own content. And for that, I also can talk for a while on that, because I already did. And that is, should your business be doing social? And that is 26 minutes and 56 seconds. So that's how long I talked to in that video. And both of those are fantastic ways. So all three of those are fantastic ways of getting your business started online without shooting yourself in the foot. You are going to get noticed. You're going to start ranking. And it may not be for everything you want, but know that you're competing against people like me out there. You're competing against experts in the SEO industry. And when you compete against experts who have all the fancy tools, that it can be pretty hard. But if there's not a tremendous amount of competition in your field, you can definitely rank. And I see it time and time again where I have a client who's never done anything SEO-wise, but they just, they worked on their online profiles. They have content out there. They have social profiles out there. They have the Google listings and stuff like that. And they're driving business to their storefronts and their store via online media without paying anything, just handling it themselves. And they did a good job. And, they're number 5 and 6 in there. And so now they're just looking at trying to get up a little bit more. So there's a lot of good out there that you can do yourself that just takes time, just takes sweat equity, and you don't have to pay anything. So that's going to be it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't see anything that came in, and that's probably because, let me see if we have any viewers on right now, because there wasn't a viewer when I started. Well, there was one, but he is not here. So we're good to go. Yeah, there's no questions coming in at all, so we are good. Again, this is Jacob with MarketingPlayBook.co. We're going to have the written guide on the MarketingPlayBook.co website. We have the live hangouts going every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, so feel free to jump in. You can ask any question you want. Join our newsletter if you join our newsletter, as well as our YouTube group, YouTube channel, and a Google Plus group, and our private Facebook group, which is pretty cool. If you join the private Facebook group, you're going to be, as well as newsletter, you're going to get notifications on the subject that we do next week, right? So if you can prepare your questions ahead of time, and you also have input on shows that you want. So you'll be able to say, hey, I have a question on doing ABC and XYZ. Can you do a show on it? Chances are I probably can, especially because there's not a whole lot of listeners right now. So this is a fantastic time for you to jump on in. And as we grow, there'll be more and more requests. I won't be able to accommodate everybody, but right now, perfect time. So join, connect with us, MarketingPlayBook.co/connect. Visit that page, connect with us on all the social media channels. Feel free and tweet at us, all that good stuff. It's all right there on that page. So that's it for today. Till next week, till next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Time, Standard Time. I'll see you then.